Joes.
Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
Big week, everybody. Big week. Lots going on. Lots going on.
So, like, as you're listening to this, the first 3 episodes of Andor are out, but we're not talking about that tonight.
Well, because they're not out where we sit
they're not out
right
yet.
now.
They're not out
They're
yet.
not out for us yet. That's not even what...
I just want to explain to people why we're not talking about Andor this week.
Yeah.
Because we will.
Hey, we're also not talking about the second episode of Last of Us. Move on.
Yeah.
Or the first episode of Last
Or the first episode. We'll get to those.
I'm just saying, people,
Oh,
you know, but we're not talking
last... Did we say what we were going to talk about last week and we're not talking about either? Okay, at the end of last week, we said we were going to talk about the studio and The Last of Us. We're not talking about either one of those things.
Yeah,
So
we'll get to them eventually.
we'll get to them. But I got to say, we're going to talk about Star Wars Celebration. When Star Wars Celebration is in Japan, I'm like, there's no way I'm going. Not that I wouldn't want to, but it's a lot. And I wasn't on my radar of like, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff. It really wasn't on my radar but there's cool stuff. So we're going to talk about that.
And we'll get to it. But I think that this year, or this celebration, the online coverage was actually the best it's been. So.
Excellent.
Which it had to be, because most people weren't going to Tokyo.
I was really excited when I went to YouTube, and I'm like, I'm seeing live stuff and hearing it live.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
and then after the fact, they chopped it all up so that you could watch every individual interview without having to watch a 7-hour live stream. They did a good job. We'll cover
They might
that
be
more.
headed getting back on track. I feel like we'll get there. So we're going to talk about that. With a couple trailers. We're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Daredevil: Born Again. Now that that's finished, if you haven't watched it, watch it. You can stop, not stop. I'm sure there'll be spoilers. Whatever. You've been warned, right?
Yeah.
You have been warned.
It was a
Okay.
solid warning.
Spoilers. Warning.
I'm totally going to
there'll
spoil
be
Disney Celebration or Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Celebration,
So
too.
we're going to spoil it.
If you don't want to know any of those things before they happen, we're going to ruin that for you.
Too bad. It's too late now. Well,
Or
not
if
years
they don't
before
happen, we're going to ruin that for you.
Well, I think the stuff we heard is going to happen.
I think so too. I think a corner has been turned.
Let's do some quick random, and I'm going to keep an eye on the clock because we can go 35 minutes of random sometimes. We're going to do a whole random show. Well, those are when we have everyone on and we have nothing to talk about. We have to have the guys on. We haven't had them on in a couple of weeks. Anyway, Ty, you don't have anything, right? Barry,
I'm going to hand it down the line.
All right, I'll go. This is super quick. 3-Body Problem. Already renewed for Season 3 and Season 4, which they're going to shoot back-to-back. So
Interesting.
Season 2 hasn't even aired yet, and they've already renewed it for 2 more seasons. It's a good sign.
I think with an ensemble cast show like that, you kind of, that makes a whole lot of sense.
It is. Shooting makes sense because everyone's got contracted.
Oh, yeah,
to,
no,
It would just
everybody
take too long to finish it.
Right.
I mean, it would be like Stranger Things, which is just taking forever to finish. So,
Yeah.
I'm wondering if Wong is shooting Doomsday and has to wait until that's done. Interesting. Anyway.
They're going to walk him in front of into the volume. He's going to say a couple lines, and then that's
he's not like.
Yeah, he's not even going to know who he's talking with. So it's like, yeah,
he's like Gwyneth Paltrow. I was in Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's right.
I have 2 very random randoms. So for nobody listening and nobody not listening, because no one cares, Rebel Moon is coming out with 3 prequel comics.
comics. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, if you really wondered what happened before the events that you didn't care about happening in the first place, there's 3 comics for you.
Are they going to come out with extended versions of those comics after they release the
after
comics?
after you bought the first ones and committed the time to reading them, they're going to come out in a bound edition with
a bound edition that's 1,000 pages,
40 extra pages.
You know how many times I've actually had to prevent myself? Because I am, you know me, I'm the director's cut apologist. I always think the director's cuts are better, and I refuse. I'm just not.
Are they even out? You don't even hear about that anymore.
They're out. They are out.
No, there's nothing. It's nothing there.
Yeah.
Barry, you had something else?
You know, I don't know if this was. I don't think this was a Celebration thing. So I'll say it here, and if it turns out it was Celebration, I apologize. But beginning May 22nd, 2026, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run.
It was
introducing a new storyline. Was that a Celebration announcement?
Yep, it was.
I didn't realize
Mando and Grogu, right?
It's going to be Mando and Grogu, and
it's going to be tied into the movie that comes out then.
There. I guess that makes sense. I didn't even connect those dots. But they said that after taking off from Batuu, you can go to Tatooine, and then the crew of the Falcon will choose their next destination. It'll either be Bespin, Endor, or Coruscant. And the engineer role, which up until this point has been pretty much the weakest role in the ship, they're saying now it's actually going to be the most important role because the engineer is going to be taking care of Grogu, and this all comes out next year.
That's going to be Amy Sedaris' job until she retires. She's going to appear there 14 shows a day, every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the engineer is when you go on the single rider line. That's the lame job you get. I wonder if they're still going to have you get that job if it's supposed to be
I don't know, but it's good that they're giving that role, that chair, more to do than just, what they do now. Because I've ridden that ride now a bunch of times, and it's fun, but it's not as great. Fun as it could be.
It's from the outside, it's the world's greatest thing ever because it's the Millennium Falcon. But the ride itself is nothing special.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that this update actually adds some excitement to it.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad they realized that.
Yeah.
Here's another. So I guess Emilio Estevez. So aside from Emilio Estevez,
no sentence ever in the last 20 years started with "So Emilio Estevez."
Yeah, exactly. But I was thinking the same thing. I was like, "Whoa!"
But he's been out there this past couple
weeks.
This past couple weeks, he's sort of been doing a few interviews. Now the whole Breakfast
Club.
The whole Breakfast Club appeared at some convention together, which is pretty cool because they haven't been around. So Emilio and Ali and Molly and Judd Nelson and
Anthony Michael Hall.
But Emilio Estevez said that Joel Schumacher on Setting Elmo's Fire was a nightmare and an asshole, basically. I paraphrase that.
Okay.
But as we suspected. But he looks. I was looking at those pictures. He looks the most the same of everybody.
Oh, no question. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. But he also every year he looks more like his father. So,
but he looks pretty good. He's got to be 60-ish, 55, 60.
Yeah,
he looks pretty good. Yeah. Anyway, that's Emilio sending you out some love.
That's right.
I think he's the unsung Brat Pack. He seems like a good dude.
Okay.
Not that I have a problem with any of them, really. Do you
I actually enjoy all their work.
Rob Lowe,
I think it would be interesting to compare IMDb's. He got a lot of work at one point and then just vanished.
That Mighty Ducks was big for him.
It was, but I'm saying Young Guns and a whole lot of other things. There were a lot of films that he was in.
Flatliners, right? He was in that.
Yeah, and then just.
I think he was.
I think wrote and or directed some of those Mighty Ducks or something.
Yeah.
So, anyway, shout out to Emilio.
Yeah.
You know who's also awesome? Fanboy Collectibles. Not Emilio Estevez. Awesome, but even better.
I don't know that Troy has ever danced in a school library, but, it's possible.
Yeah, exactly. Up for pre-order, there's a giant Cad Bane premium format, if that's your thing. You can have him. Hot Toy Scarecrow. They're sort of digging deep on
interesting that they're swinging back to the Nolan years too.
But they said DC Comics in the thing, which is interesting.
Yeah,
but it's totally
weird. But it's
that actor's likeness, which is
it's actually really good. He was the way he got that role is he was up for Bruce Wayne. And they really liked him. They just didn't like him for Bruce Wayne. And they basically created that role for him, which was a little thin. But it's a great looking figure. So
it is. But they got
what also looks really good. It's not necessarily something that I would put on my shelf, but the Kotobukiya Vampirella Bishojo looks great.
It does.
Yeah.
Don't you have one of those? Something like that?
Me? No.
Or Todd has Red Sonja, maybe?
No, I have a Catwoman and I have a Zatanna.
I would have a Red Sonja, though.
Yeah.
No question.
But Pops and Sideshow and Hot Toys and Hasbro and Kotobukiya, as we said, and So Toys and all that stuff. Everything you need. Check those guys out. They're always updating their website. Dig in that website. There's stuff that maybe was up for pre-order a while ago and you're looking for, and people are on eBay or selling it for more than they should, but they got all, and they're not. So check those guys out. FanboyCollectibles.com. Check them out at their store in Newtown, Connecticut, and tell them the Regular Joes sent you.
All right, quick update. I was wrong. He was not in Flatliners. I was thinking of Free Jack. He was in Free Jack.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it was right around the same time.
Don't know that.
Yeah.
And if you need a display for your props, check out From Dave's Workshop.
Just going to say, best Emilio Estevez, just for the callback, best Emilio Estevez movie, Repo Man. So,
I don't think I've ever seen it.
You've got to see.
I've seen it.
You got to see Repo Man. It's like, made on $1.25. Him and Harry Dean Stanton. So, yeah,
there you go. And speaking of From Dave's Workshop, my commercials in the Props podcast. Somebody listened because in one of the Facebook's group, this is how. And as a former advertising executive, I'll tell you, advertising doesn't work. No one pays attention. It's bullshit. But I'm sitting in it and I'm wearing it, so it's fine. But someone was like, "Hey, who's that guy on the Stuff Dreams Are Made of podcast who does those things?" I had 3 commercials. On one show, they talked about me for 5 minutes. No one recalls anything.
No.
Advertising is dead. But someone let him know who it was, and it turns out I'm doing a project for the guy, and I had bought something from him about a year ago.
All right. So, well, look, it's word of mouth that's going to help you more than anything. So that's
absolutely.
And
this is not a reflection of the Stuff Dreams Are Made of. Their podcast is quality. People just don't care about advertising.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, you probably need to be on 50 shows before it's drilled into people's heads, and that's just
frequency. It's got to be frequency like State Farm. You can't get away from them. They have 30 frequency. So, anyway. But if you need something, check me out from davesworkshop.com. Okay. Trailers. We're going to try to not spend 1 million hours on trailers because we got a lot of stuff to cover. But I guess there were 3. Barry claims 3 important ones.
I didn't say it was important. I said it was something that was probably worth talking about. That's not the same thing.
So I'll let you choose which one you want to talk about first.
Well, let's get that one out of the way first then. So the trailer for Tron Aries dropped. This movie is not on my radar at all. I enjoyed Tron Legacy at the time. I've never rewatched it since it came out.
I didn't.
But I have a fondness for the original Tron, but it doesn't hold up, right?
It doesn't hold up at all.
But I think it's interesting. I don't know if you guys watched the trailer, but it looks like, and I don't know how they're doing it, but the Tron universe is bridging over to our universe, and seeing light cycles going down a road, like a real road, was pretty damn cool. I thought that looked really cool.
It is an interesting way to spin it. I got to say, I had kind of very little interest in this until I watched the trailer, and I'm like, that is an interesting pivot. This is, if they do this right, it could be kind of cool. I think it's
just going back into the computer universe might not have been exciting. We're kind of at the point where we figured out what happens
in the Gameverse isn't that consequential,
right?
But bleeding into the real world could be.
This trailer and this movie seems like it does a great homage to the original movie in that it looks cool and no story. That's exactly what happened in the original, and that's what I think is going on here. We're going to have cool-looking stuff for absolutely no reason.
I think there's more story. You see more story here than you saw in the whole first movie in this trailer. I find it interesting. I like that Jeff Bridges is doing the voiceover.
It was cool looking, but oh my god, Jeff Bridges sounds like Obadiah Stane,
only older.
He's just
he
like
is Obadiah Stane.
I know, but he does not sound like the Jeff Bridges of. He sounds like old.
I've watched the trailer
Jeff
twice
Bridges.
because I wanted to make sure I caught all of it, and I believe the way they're billing this is just alphabetical order. But Gillian Anderson has got top billing, and she did not appear in the trailer, from best I could tell.
Well, no one appeared in the trailer, really, did they?
Well, Jared Leto's in there, and Greta Lee's in there. You hear Jeff Bridges' voice. I don't know. I thought the light cycles splitting the police car down the middle looked
that
awesome.
Was cool. I think it's going to be one of those. Let's have cool stuff, and we have to support the, $100 million ride we just built at Disney World.
Yes.
Yeah, but they got 9 Inch Nails to do the music, which I think is cool. They had Daft Punk for the last movie, and that was a great soundtrack. So I'm excited about. I mean, the music sounded great in the trailer. So
I hope it's on streaming really quick. That's all.
It'll be on Disney Plus a month after it hits theaters.
You know what came out? That Mickey 17 came. Oh, it's for rent actually.
Okay,
I went and saw that in the theater with my son.
Joey thought it looked.
Joey wanted to see it, so I took him to see it in the theater.
But it was on rental 2 weeks later.
Yeah, well, it didn't do well in the theater at all. It lost a lot of money.
But they gave it 2 weeks to do it.
It's a
we were going to watch
movie.
it the other night, but I'm like, I'm not spending $20 because if it went this quick to go to rental, it's going to be on streaming in 2 weeks.
And this is one more reason we're waiting another year for Batman. So,
I will say this: I thought it was quirky and enjoyable. So when you do finally get around to seeing it, I think you'll like it.
It's potentially interesting. I think we're moving into an era we're going to see a lot of really safe bet movies because I think anything that's out a little bit out there and it's got a concept that's hard to explain and you got to wrap your head around it, people aren't going to see. So
this is out there,
but they are going to see Minecraft.
It's out there. It definitely sounds like those books, Yeah,
it's out there. But I like I said, it went places I didn't necessarily expect it to go, and I enjoyed it. So
cool. I look forward to seeing it. Yeah. I unfortunately watched Twisters instead, and it was freaking horrible.
Why?
Because we could not. We wanted to watch a movie that we hadn't seen, and then we were just. That's the only thing we could come up with.
Okay.
I will say this: I don't know that Mickey 17 is a Pam movie. I'm not sure she would enjoy it.
Is it blood and guts?
No, it's out there.
She doesn't like the blood and guts. Other than that, although I tried to make her. So Bosch. Do you know, Todd, and again, this is an aside, sorry. Do you know they're doing a spin-off of Bosch?
I know. With a character.
I didn't even know that until a week ago.
You didn't know this?
No, I didn't know about it.
We talked about this like 6 months ago, and you said, I don't care to see that.
Oh, really? That sounds
and I reminded you that you liked her in something else, and you said, still don't care.
I don't remember anything about that. And that's not about you, that's about me.
Okay. So, Maggie Q is going to be in a Bosch spin-off.
Ballard.
Called Ballard. And about this character, Renee Ballard, that they shoehorned into the last 2 episodes. And
I haven't seen them both yet, so don't say anything.
They shoehorned her into the last 2 episodes.
Yeah,
where she kills the president.
Where she kills the president and the vice president.
Thank God. Is it real?
Anyways, I'll say, so finish the show. It does not feel like they shot this show knowing it was the end of the series.
They did not know. I'm
saying it very much feels like,
he was on the Today Show, or he's doing the circuit, and they're like, oh, so it's the final season, and he's like, well, the people are writing in to have another season. I don't think he's good with it how it ended.
I don't think he should be. The other thing is, his daughter's last scene is just like a throwaway that's tangential to something else. And it's like they deserve some closure on a show that...
Yeah, maybe they'll do a movie.
We're talking 11 years between those 2 series. And so now they get to be like reoccurring characters in another show.
I know. Well, the whole point of this was I'm like, Pam, I've watched 10 years of Bosch. Why don't you watch the last 2 episodes with me? And then we could watch this new show with it, because we're always looking for stuff to watch. She lasted 10 minutes, and she's like, no, this isn't for me. And she listens to the podcast now, so don't say anything bad.
You know what? And I know we're completely off book here, but we just started watching that new John Hamm series.
Oh, yeah, I've been watching it.
I'm 2 episodes in. It's actually really good.
It's fun. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
We're watching that, and the Mobland is a couple.
That I haven't started yet.
Is that worth watching?
It's okay. It's good. Huh?
Is that worth watching? Because I hear both ways.
It's okay. Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's not great. It's good. There's a lot of sticky situations.
Oh God, what's the Kevin?
Let's go to the next trailer.
What's the Kevin Bacon show?
Oh no, that looks bloody and just the bone.
I tell you, I watched that entire thing. They're short. They're really short. It's a dark comedy. I just like, how did they get him to agree to do this show? I just was like, it's.
Hate him.
Wait, let me ask you this: was it filmed in New York?
No. Looks like
because he probably didn't want to travel. He lives in New York.
It does not look like that at all. So, yeah.
Okay, the next trailer is
Fantastic Four. Let's do that one next.
Okay. So, spoiler:
I'm
Sue has a baby.
Still cautiously optimistic.
I got to tell you, one of the sort of very superficial things I've come out of this, her hair does not look like it's from the 60s, along with his facial hair. The more I see more of them, I don't love them as those
alternate
characters.
Universe, though. So
I know. I just besides that,
yeah.
But it makes me feel I don't love them as these characters, and the whole bringing the kid. I got to say, I'm not sure about that movie anymore.
And I think Pedro Pascal is great. I feel like maybe he's overexposed or something, but I just don't
see him here.
I look at him and I don't see Reed Richards at all. I see Pedro Pascal.
I don't at all. And he could have been more Reed Richards looking, but he chose not to be. I got to say,
at least we got to see him stretching a little bit in the trailer.
We kind of did.
I'm worried about this movie.
Very sparing with that.
This trailer made me worry.
I actually think the CG on the Silver Surfer looked terrible too. Really didn't.
So
look good.
honestly, I looked at that and I thought, okay, they did this in the Terminator movie how long ago, and it looked really good then.
1992.
That's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, Barry, shouldn't this be amazing now? Shouldn't it be?
Well, that's the thing. I wonder, is the CG not done yet for that? Or B, are they making a choice? Because the Silver Surfer in the previous Fantastic Four movie looked better than this.
I agree.
Are they trying to make sure you see who it is?
It looks an awful lot like the girl from Ozark painted
That's
silver.
what I'm saying. And then when I saw that, I'm like, oh, it's Julia Garner. Or Julie, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now that then I take a step back. If you look at that cast, they cast people who were like, oh, the kid from Stranger Things who was the hot thing. Girl from Ozark who's the hot thing.
The guy from the
blonde
Bear.
girl.
The guy. Yeah. Oh yeah. No. That is exact.
I'm not. I don't know.
I
have
Dave.
concerns.
I think the same thing. I think basically somebody looked at IMDb and said, and the trending people, they were like, oh,
yeah,
Sue Storm, Johnny Storm. It's like, and they just walked down the line. I don't know. I'm still optimistic. I think this is could be really, really interesting. I think they're holding a lot back. I think this movie covers a longer span of time than we think. Or at least they've been. We see her pregnant, and then there's a crib in the background at one point. So, or we see them announcing she's pregnant, and then there's a crib in the background in what appears to be active. There's like lights in the room and stuff like that. So this may cover a longer span of time than we're thinking. We get the idea from First Steps that it's really just kind of and it's got to get them into at least the multiverse, if not the universe that the Avengers live in.
What's interesting is that they're calling it First Steps, but they've been very clear that they're not covering the origin story. They're starting after the origin story.
Is it the kids' first steps? Now, wait, was the kids in the cartoon?
No, the kid's been in the books forever, but yeah.
I don't know. Did he ruin the comics like any kid?
No. I mean, there's also daughter
shows,
and they've messed with their ages a lot, and he's powered, and I don't want to get too deep into that, but let me ask you this: is Galactus played by Giancarlo Esposito? Because that would be perfect. Boy, that would totally fit into your explanation. I can't think of anybody else who'd be more likely to be cast in that role.
That's he fits with those people.
Or Jeffrey Wright. It would just be like, oh, well, if we can't get him, we'll get Jeffrey Wright. So, yeah.
So, Barry, you still feel okay having seen the trailer?
I'm just saying I'm cautiously optimistic. They've tried and failed with the Fantastic Four so many times. I can't imagine that they're not going to make it good. But
the trailer made me worry.
This trailer, the first trailer had me more excited than this one. Let's put it that way.
They're using media in an interesting way within this, with them appearing on like an Ed Sullivan type show, and also showing the TV flashbacks and stuff like this. So I think that's how they're going to establish the origin. Having them on a talk show or something like that.
Well, they basically even said in the trailer they went to space and they got changed.
They did. It was like almost a throwaway line.
That's what I'm saying, and it's like so I think they're going to establish it that way, and I think that's a whole lot better than our seeing the origin yet again.
I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying the title First Steps sounds like an origin story, but it must be a play on something else.
I think it's got more to do with where they're going later.
Or Dave said, maybe with the
gigantic Galactus walking, which is something we've never actually seen. But he's kind of a floater. He's not so much a walker. But
he is now.
Maybe they're referring to the steps as he's walking through downtown Manhattan. So
I don't know. I don't know. Here's my prediction for the summer. Worst movie of the genre in the summer.
Okay. I'm saying
Superman the best. This is the worst. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Well, and I know the next one we're going to talk about is not summer; it's May.
Yeah. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it's going to be better than Dave thinks it is. That's where I'm falling on that.
I hope so. I'm
going with will be better than Dave thinks it is. So both now and later.
That's not a ringing endorsement, though.
No, Barry. I'm saying I'm predicting it's going to be better than he's saying it is now, and I predict it's going to be better than he's going to say it is after he's seen it.
Fair enough. That's fair.
So now let's talk about the one.
Let's go to the next piece of shit.
Piece of shit. I think
fucking
excited for this movie.
Awesome
for this movie. I'm going to be crushed awesome if this is bad.
The last trailer they just dropped was
heavy.
Oh my god, mate!
But you know what? This is not the Suicide Squad.
I don't think that's bad.
No, I'm saying
it's not good that it's heavy.
It's not.
It was comedy. One comedy trailer.
Every one of these people needs redemption in some one way or another.
Yeah,
and it's brilliant that they chose to do it in this way. And it's like the people have no expectations of them whatsoever, and
But up until this point, we were almost kind of led to believe that it was just another sidekick team-up movie, and I don't feel that way after watching this last trailer. It feels like there's real stakes now.
They've been very smart. They showed a trailer where there's a bunch of funny bits, and now they got a trailer where it's like heavy duty. I'm very excited for this movie.
Yep. I am too. Not a lot of Taskmaster. I was thinking that in all the clips we've seen, it's like I think you get a glimpse of her like twice.
Oh, you don't even see her. Would we ever see her face? I mean,
no, but we didn't, and not her face. But I'm saying they have really, she was more prominent in the earlier ones than this one, and we actually got to see Ghost a couple of times in this one, but.
Ghost, we saw her out of her costume, right?
Right,
She
yes.
was
Yeah.
And that's what I'm
completely
saying.
different.
They're-
I wasn't sure who that was for a second.
Yeah, that's Ghost.
Taskmaster doesn't make it. My prediction.
Is that... Did she get a chair? I don't think she got a chair.
I don't think she had a chair in the Avengers.
Oh,
Reveal.
did any of them? Did David Harbour have a chair?
Yeah.
He did.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
So did Yelena.
Yep. So, yeah, I think those are the two most likely to not make it out of this movie, Taskmaster and Ghost. They're also the least they know what to do with. So, and they're also curiously both the male characters who they flipped to female characters. So,
And that's against the law now. So
I
it's
was going to say that's no
it's
longer
the right
allowed.
thing to do.
So,
Take him out.
Yep. Yep.
That's a joke for anyone who's agreeing. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
They're doing it in school. They go to school as a boy and they come home as a girl. They're doing that.
Yeah. It's as someone who spends his every day in school, we don't have time for that shit, people. It's not happening.
You can't get them to read a book.
That's
right.
what
let alone-
recess is
Get
for,
it to
Todd.
Freaking look at anything but their. And here's the thing, okay? Is it the teacher they're ignoring that's making them, that's changing them, or the phone they won't stop looking at? Think about that. So
Okay. So
I am
right.
super
Somehow
stoked
we
for
went-
this movie.
Yeah, let's get back to the
I am too.
Me
I'm very
too.
excited. It's less than, well, as we record, it's not even 2 weeks.
Couple weeks, yeah.
I got my tickets
10 days.
an hour ago.
10
I'm
days.
going to see Rise. God, I almost said Rise of Skywalker. Jesus Christ! Going to see Revenge of the Sith this coming weekend, and I'm going to see.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, and then I'm going to see Thunderbolts the following weekend. Very excited.
I'm going to see Accountant 2. I might. I should see Revenge of the Sith.
Why not?
Mark wants to see it. I could see it.
My
Okay.
kids have never seen it on the. I think we talked about this. My kids have never seen it on the
Yeah.
big screen. They're actually super excited to go.
So they've never seen any original Star Wars, no original release on the big screen.
I think.
Oh no, there's the
I think
sequels.
Phantom Menace maybe when it came out in 3D. I took them to see that.
That was a thing. Remember?
That was the
3D
thing for half
thing?
a second. Yeah, but yeah, they haven't seen. Yeah, they haven't. So they're super excited. So that's happening.
Cool. Okay. Next, shifting gears. So Daredevil, what is it? 9 episodes?
9 episodes.
9 episodes.
9 episodes. Todd, we're going to give you the floor. This is your baby. How did you feel about it?
Overall, I liked it. There's some challenges there. You know, they had 6 episodes that are a lot of stuff retained from before they reworked it. I'm glad,
With who?
based on those first 6 episodes, that we didn't get 18 episodes of that, which is
okay.
where
Yeah,
they were on track to do. They're on track to do an 18-episode season that was basically, Matt Murdock, attorney at law.
Yeah, it was going to be a procedural, and they
And
left
they-
some of that in there. But
They used a lot of stuff that they shot, but they worked other things in. A lot of things that they've been criticized for doing, like killing Foggy. Oops, spoiler. That happened off screen in the original incarnation. It's not something they put in this. But overall, I liked it. I love the character. I'm glad to see it back. I like from the kind of the bank robbery on. That, I think, is a lot more indication of what we're going to see with this moving forward. And they really want to do. They're shooting the second season right now. They really want to do more after that. The show's always been, at its heart, about him and Kingpin. But they've worked it out in such a way that they've got to bring other characters in, and I find that interesting. Like I said, overall, I liked it a lot. I like the characters. I think it's good when they use them to good purpose. That wasn't necessarily fully the case going in, initially. But again, it's been highly rated. Even some of the things I didn't particularly like seem to have landed well. It's interesting in that, it's very rare to put a show out that has 3 years of precedent. You've already got 3 seasons, but not really, because it's not really a sequel to the show. It's just they kind of picked up elements of it and moved forward. So, it's like I said, I like it. I'll stop talking now. But I'm
love the
happy I'm
characters.
overall happy with what I saw. So
It felt just, it was a little disjointed. You could, I mean, you know, after you sit back and you're like, yeah, you could see how they sort of shoehorn stuff together.
Yep.
And I don't even mind the Matt Murdock stuff. I don't mind, you know, the lawyer stuff. It was a little heavy on that, but, and then I just felt like there was stuff pieced together. It was like his girlfriend is Kingpin's therapist, his girlfriend, and also happened to be the person Muse went after.
That was a stretch.
Forced.
Honestly, if I threw away anything from the whole series, it would be that character. Because
you can't throw her away. I liked her.
Yeah, God,
she's not even that hot.
I
kind of felt like, I think she is, but I kind of felt like, yeah, it just, you know, I don't know, too much revolved around her without, you know,
there was a lot of her.
It was a lot, you know, and
then the her with Kingpin.
I mean,
there's
if
a
they
lot
were
of
using her as a way of keeping tabs on him, that sort of makes sense, except that they were spilling their guts to her. And so that doesn't make sense.
In the fact that she, again, spoiler, she's like, oh, I'm going to be on his task force or whatever the hell she's going to be.
In the end, yeah.
But was that because she was afraid to say no, or was
is,
that she bought into him?
No, I think she bought in.
Found
but I
a
think
way of you know, having her, tying her to Muse in some other way.
It was a lot going.
It felt like the one thing that they were successful with there was, but whether it was intentional on Kingpin's point or not, he drove a wedge between her and Matt, and I think
absolutely,
because Matt isn't being honest with her, and she knows he's not being honest with her about something, it pushed her more towards going towards the Kingpin side, and so that I think was successful in there. But my whole thing with it, and I enjoyed it, so it's not like I didn't like the show. It just, they're just in a show called Daredevil, I just didn't feel like there was enough Daredevil, and I understand why. And the fight scenes that we got and the action that we got, especially the stuff with the Punisher, which was brutal, that stuff was really good, and I enjoyed it. I just felt like there just wasn't enough of it for me, and I'm hoping that in the second half of this,
I don't think it was as effectively used.
It's weighted
as
heavily
it was
towards
in
the
past.
second. I think the three people that were essentially driving the series in the earlier part of it were probably really hesitant to do the do Netflix level violence on a Disney Channel show, and I think people ultimately figured out that this is what the show is. So because
it felt a little.
Don't take this character on at all if you're not going to do it right.
Well, no, but they figured that out. Okay, you know,
No,
they
I
figured
know
out they took it away from these guys, and they rejiggered it quite a bit. I will say I think, like I said, I think it's on a good trajectory now. I think they've set up a second season really, really well. The thing that I'm probably, and I'll go back to what you said, I think both the scenes with John Barenthal were great. You know, both the when he went to see him before and he was kind of wigged out and he was kind of, you know, I thought that was good. It was kind of foretelling something. But I also think, I mean, you guys didn't watch all the Punisher. Karen Page appeared in both seasons. And was his kind of like his psychological lifeline. She was the one person that could talk him down. Okay.
Oh, interesting.
And so choosing to having her call him in was really, really good and paid, you know, it was payback for that, what had happened previously. And if you didn't see that, you didn't need to, but still it really worked. And the people that, you know, there's people out there that are saying, oh, you know, where did this thing between Karen and him come from? It's there. I mean, they painted it, you know, a page at a time.
All right, that makes sense because I felt like they shoehorned her in.
No, she is the one that you know got Matt to take his case. She's the one that you know, like I said, talked him down a couple times. I also love that they have not softened that character one iota, and that he is if anything, more brutal and more vicious than he was previously, and that they kept the dynamic between the two of them perfectly intact. It's like Matt doesn't think he needs to kill, and he doesn't see any other path whatsoever. When you cross a certain line, it's inevitable.
You guys know there was a scene in the credits, right?
You both saw the post-credit
final
thing,
episode.
Right?
Oh, I don't think I did.
Yeah, a lot of people missed that. There is a post-credit sequence that
in the last
sets
episode.
up the Punisher standalone movie that they're going to do, or standalone special they're going to do.
Oh, I didn't know there was one.
I'm really psyched for that. I think that's...
Is it going to be him in a cage for an hour?
David, and honestly, I don't think it gives anything away. It's him
getting out of the
cage. How he gets out of the cage.
Oh.
Sorry, spoiler. And then he kills the president.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to that. But the thing that the most interesting thing that I took away from the end of this was him saying, and this was a huge progress for him because he's, from minute one, he's always been, I have to do everything myself, saying that we're going to need help. So that kind of opens it wide up for who else, they're going to bring the Punisher back.
Iron Fist.
God, I hope not. I would love to see Jessica Jones back. I think it's pretty clear that the White Tiger's niece is going to pick up the mantle of White Tiger. So I think we're going to see her because they just kept showing her, and that's foretelling something.
Yeah, for no good reason, yeah.
And
I definitely got the feeling with this, very similar to what happened with Rogue One, like the Star Wars crew was like, we want a gritty war movie like Saving Private Ryan, and that's exactly what they got. And then when they got it, they're like, oh no, we don't want this at all. I feel like they had an idea for what they wanted this to be, and when they finally looked at it, they were like, oh no, we don't want this.
Oh yeah, no, I think people would not have cared at all about 18 episodes of Matt Murdock. I will say with the
and you remember, I'm sure you remember when we first heard about this, the first season was going to be 18 episodes.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And I think they were
now that they broke it up into two halves, but
and honestly, I think the writer's strike probably saved this from being a disaster. I really do, because I think that's when they put the brakes on, and I think they really looked at what they had and realized, we got to do some serious retooling here. And they injected other characters. Another thing with that the final non-post-credit sequence, I think, so he goes back into Josie's bar, and his friend Cherry's there, but there's also a number of cops standing there who are silhouetted. And, I think you could watch this and walk away with the idea that all New York City cops are corrupt. And I think they needed to kind of establish that, that there were going to be people that were on the other side of the fence. And I think that's good. One of the most brutal deaths that we've seen since Pedro Pascal and
my God,
went off the board in Game of Thrones.
Oh, that was horrible.
Oh God, and yeah,
they certainly didn't hold back on the violence.
Yeah, no, they and that was, like I said, that was awesome. Again, like I said, it's I'm good with where they left it. I can see where it would not have been as, it's kind of disaster averted is what I think. I felt like the bank episode was like, it wasn't bad, but if we'd had 18 episodes like that were clear, like a bottle episodic thing, it just would have been a pretty mediocre
I just
series.
didn't know why the guy working in the bank had to be Ms. Marvel's dad.
Well, because again, they just wanted to show that it's in the same universe,
and it went nowhere. I thought it was going to go somewhere,
and it was the lowest stake way that they could establish that. I think this was going to be an episodic show, and it got away from that, and I think it was very smart to do that. So overall, like I said, I think it ended on a high note. The whole series was better received than I expected, but I think the end of it really portends something really good coming. And every day, apparently, like they can't close a set at all or contain video cell phone cameras, because every day there's more footage online from them filming outside for season 2. So that should be interesting. So.
Yeah, I mean, I love those characters. It's a little disjointed, I think you could have cut out 2 episodes worth of stuff. I mean, it's funny. Even the whole Kingpin and his wife talking to the doctor. I get you establish a relationship. None of that really went anywhere.
Well,
I mean, there was a lot of it.
It showed both of where. I mean, they introduced. That was how they introduced the other man, and the other man was how they brought her to the other side. How
could have been tighter, but
it's absolutely. But I am glad that they were able to get her back, that actress back, who I will always think of Superman's mom, but from Man of Steel. Right?
Oh, Vanessa.
Yeah.
That's Superman's mom
from Man of Steel. Yeah, that was yeah. But yeah, no. Again, like I said, it's. I give it like a solid B plus, and it's all the seasons we had previously of Daredevil. You could have thrown away a number of episodes of, and I think I think season 2 of this, you get the potential to have, they're on track for a really good storyline. They didn't close it out like they did in each of the other 3 seasons. So they don't need a starting place. They don't need to establish anything. I think what's coming could be good. If we look at this as a prelude for the next couple seasons, I'm very optimistic about that. So.
Yeah, like I said, I enjoyed it. It's not like I didn't enjoy it. I wish that there had been a little bit more action in there.
Not even I don't even mind if it's just. It really felt like the Daredevil parts were a little disconnected from everything else. Yeah. I mean,
and Matt seemed a little unhinged, more so than I remember him being in previous seasons.
Well, because one of the things
he's carrying a lot of weight.
And Barry, the outlet that he had was being Daredevil, and he didn't trust himself to be Daredevil, so he should have come off as a little more unhinged. And we're seeing that in like recklessness, but all like exposing, Hector Oliva's identity, without consulting him, stuff like that. He was acting rashly, and you kind of saw that, but they could also have like alluded to that a little bit. I mean, the guy's dating a freaking psychologist. They could have explained that a little bit.
Who he is not using in her professional capacity at all. Maybe he could have and could have.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And apparently the only psychologist in all of New York, because
apparently, I was thinking
everyone goes to her.
It's like
the muse, Kingpin.
I feel like when she closed up her office to go to work for Kingpin full time, there's gonna be like a whole line of supervillains outside, be like, "What? I had an appointment." And it's.
And she's. One last point. She seemed pissed that Daredevil saved her. And by the way, like, I know this is a superhero trope, but Matt looks like Matt with that mask on. She should have recognized her boyfriend.
Oh, he's just kind of a red blur. Okay, it's kind of like Clark Kent and Superman. Yeah.
No, I know.
Overall, he's kind of lucky that she didn't shoot him. So, yeah.
Yeah, you go with your Kingpin. You're a loser. Hopefully he gets back with Karen.
Yeah.
It seems like
boy, how was that? How was the coming out, waking up thing? Now here's a guy who has the most acute senses in that whole universe. Okay. And as he's waking up, his girlfriend's there and he calls her his former office assistant's name. That's rough. So, yeah.
Good for him.
But we love Karen.
And they're both going to be at Rhode Island Comic Con,
yes.
Kingpin and Daredevil.
Oh, that's
Have we ever
awesome.
been anywhere? Have you been anywhere where he's been?
Not where he's been. Yeah. So,
yeah.
No, I'm looking forward to that.
Wasn't he at WonderCon? Not WonderCon. Terrificon or something?
I think D'Onofrio was there.
I thought...
was Charlie Cox there? Maybe.
Charlie Cox was there.
I don't know.
So I'm kind of torn between getting both their autographs and maybe having Herofied make that Daredevil, the Daredevil metal print thing, and having them both sign that, because I love that. I have a paper version of it, and
it could be cool. That's another thing. You could get just him, or you can get both of them, and that's all you need.
And that's what I'm saying. I would get the two of them, and I think it would be because that. The thing that he made has Kingpin's silhouette in the background, and then Matt Murdock
that's
working
cool.
in the
Yeah,
foreground.
You totally get both of them.
Yeah,
I don't think they'll be crazy money.
No, and it's yeah. So
That sounds like a project for you.
yeah,
But D'Onofrio's had a bunch of stuff. He's had like something on Long Island or somewhere.
Yeah,
I
gotta say, he's just he does a great job with that role, but he's also like a kind of great ambassador for that property because he loves that so much. He's out there in a lot of social media and
he does a lot of shows
and does and he's done a lot of different things. He actually was in an interview saying the DC character he would like to play. Did you read this?
No.
DC character he would like to play. Any guesses? Not the low hanging fruit of Lex Luthor.
I was going to say Lex Luthor, but
no.
Egghead.
He wants to be Swamp Thing.
Oh, I did see that.
He wants to play Swamp Thing. So I think he's an interesting dude. So, anyways, it's like I said, cool. I think it leaves us in a good position, and we'll see what they do from here. So
he'll always be Edgar in Men in Black to me.
Oh, geez, yeah, God, I've totally forgotten that. Yeah,
that's great. The bugs crawling out of him.
Yeah.
All right, Star Wars Celebration. Barry, you probably have the most copious notes.
Yep,
I have a few. Let's just start with, I think, maybe the worst kept secret, but we now have it officially confirmed. The Star Wars Starfighter movie, May 2027.
Wait. Isn't it called Rogue Squadron? No? Okay.
No, it's called Starfighter.
I don't think that's the worst kept secret.
We've known for a while that he was making a movie and that Ryan Gosling was going to be
here's the thing that I think is surprising, because that's the first thing I tuned in. I was flipping through YouTube and I tuned in and I'm like, holy shit, Ryan Gosling is on stage. They just announced a couple of months ago Sean Levy is going to make a movie. Yeah. And this is why I think they're on track. Sorry to sort of grab this whole thing.
No, go for it.
But why I think they're on a good track, because it was like, oh, Sean Levy's going to make a movie. Okay, after Taika Waititi, after Ryan Johnson, after Patty Jenkins, after James Mangold, after that woman who's doing the Ray. Okay, Sean, it's just
the Game of Thrones guys.
Yeah,
Charmaine Obaid-Chinoy, I believe is her name.
There you go. You throw any name out there who's the hot thing, and so I thought that was just like everything else.
Don't forget, Ryan Johnson has a trilogy that he's still working on.
Don't forget that. Yeah,
I was watching it live when the woman, what was it? The woman who looks like the girl from Star Trek, Tilly, says.
She's very nice. I've met her. It's Kristen Baver.
You guys are in development, and he's like, "No, we are in pre-production. We start shooting this fall," which is exactly how they should be doing these.
Well,
things.
and he was told, you make sure they know this is actually happening.
But it's like, here's the one guy they sort of announced, and by the time they announced it, he was knee deep in this.
No, but when I say worst kept secret, Dave,
should have been happening all along. And I think they've figured that out. That's
what I'm saying.
I think they are the studio that cried wolf so many times that no one was going to take them seriously unless they were, unless they had something.
And not only did this leapfrog the Ray movie, the Ray movie is officially off the schedule right now.
Yeah.
So there's it's not even on the schedule right now.
Well, I read an article that said it seems like it's getting back on track. Whatever that means.
Well, right, but we now have a movie in 2026, a movie in 2027, and nothing else officially announced, where the Ray movie has had 2 dates up to this point, and it's now off the schedule.
That's why like I said before, I didn't think anything of Celebration because they're so all over the place with their stuff. I didn't think there'd be anything of, but here's something of substance.
I told you that a couple weeks ago when we said it was coming, I said there's going to be some concrete announcements, because This whole thing with Sean Levy and Ryan Gosling, it's been out there. It's not, and that's why I say it's worst kept secret.
It's out there. But
the rumors have been out there for a while.
I wasn't treating this any more seriously
it's like everything else has been out there.
Yeah.
So
but this felt like it had a little bit more weight to it, and obviously now we know it does.
Like the Blade movie.
Yeah. I think it's
had a director.
No, I'm not letting you do that to me. No,
had a director and a star for 4 years. So
I don't think this is going to be that, though. Do you?
No, I don't think it is either. No, but I'm saying that was my
the
mindset.
rumor could have been that.
No,
yes,
Barry, I'm
absolutely.
saying that was my mindset 2 months ago when I first heard it. It's like, okay, having a director and actor does not give you a movie. Now I believe it's real.
Yeah, and my only point is that I had a feeling that they were going to use this opportunity to make it official, which they did, and they didn't wait.
They could have made anything official. They could have said Taika Waititi's doing a trilogy.
But there has been really no rumblings about anything else other than that this was going to be the next actual movie.
I think it's good, and I think it's exciting. Sean Levy's great. He's obviously done a lot of good stuff. I think Ryan Gosling's good in everything he's in.
Yeah, and they've been very clear. This is not a trilogy announcement. This is a single film. It takes place, I think she said 5 years after Rise of Skywalker. So it's in fertile territory. They don't have anything that they've got to worry about tripping over. It's going to be new characters. Maybe we'll see some legacy characters in there. Who knows?
And they can also use this as a springboard for the Rey movie too. So
yeah.
Yep.
I think I'm excited about it. I haven't been excited because it's all the same bullshit of guess who's got a movie every jerk. So I think it's cool, and I do like Ryan Gosling. What if his name is like Bill Starfighter?
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
That could or like
we've
right?
had Skywalker, we've had Star
That's
Killer,
what I'm saying.
we've had all
That would
these
be
types
No,
of names, so.
I do not think they're going to go there. Okay, so can we talk about the other?
I'm excited
Other
about
thing
that.
from this movie, the other announcement from this movie. Oh, it's not actually that movie. Never mind. Keep going.
All right. Well, so look, May 28th, 2027.
Yeah.
And jumping to the end of Celebration, they announced the next American space celebration is going to be April 1st to 4th, 2027. So a month before that movie comes out.
In LA. I think
So
we have to go.
We get a celebration in LA about a month and a half before the movie comes out. So
that's going
to be
That's
exciting.
like the first. Well, I guess we had Rogue One. I mean,
And when is it?
But
What's
it was
the date?
April 1st to 4th, 2027.
Okay.
I mean, even Rogue One, because when I step back, I'm like, this is the first sort of different Star Wars movie. Even Rogue One was tied into Star Wars, as everything else has been. This is the first outside the Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
Which is super exciting, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's in good hands, and I think that it was smart of them to put, not just a name, but a good actor. I mean,
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling's got range, right? I mean, he's been in Blade Runner, he's been in Barbie, like he's been in everything in between. He's good.
Yeah,
he's a solid actor. So,
we need to go, and it's not in Anaheim. Interestingly enough, someone made that distinction.
Yeah, no, it's in LA. And you know what else is opening just before that? Supposedly,
Fanboy Collectibles.
Well, is the George Lucas Museum of Narrative Art, which is also in LA and is opening supposedly that same time.
Oh, we'll definitely have to go.
So
we got to get our tickets.
Could be a lot going on there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I can't imagine there'll be a crowd for that. So
no, not at all, not at all. All right, cool. So that was that. They gave us a lot more information about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie.
Todd, did you see the trailer? The footage
before it got yanked off the internet?
I did not see the footage before it got yanked.
It's action. They showed action packed,
spectacular.
It looks
awesome.
great.
I've read descriptions of it, but I didn't see it.
It really looks cool. There's funny stuff and action.
And if you ever wondered what the inside of an AT-AT looked like, now you know.
Okay, I actually knew that from Robot Chicken. So
that's a year from now.
Yes.
That
looks really cool.
Additional co-star and one additional character from that, I thought was learning that was really cool.
Sigourney Weaver?
So that's one. Okay.
Well, they announced that.
Yeah, well, we knew she was in it,
ago.
but we didn't know what her role was. And
yeah.
So in the footage, it wasn't in the footage. It was in pictures that they released at the panel. Yeah. She's in an X-wing pilot costume.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
She is Colonel Bishop, which I found that kind of interesting.
Knowing Filoni and Favreau, they totally picked that name from Aliens.
Yep.
Awesome.
But also Zeb is in there.
Yep, we saw Zeb,
which and I was like, just
necessarily
see
have
the
that
one
connection
kind
to
of
Zeb,
tease we had of him in Ahsoka. That was in Ahsoka, right? No.
That was in Book of Boba Fett.
Book of Boba Fett. So, it was like they can do him. They've got to use him someplace, and apparently we're going to see him there, and
who knows how big of a role he's going to have, but just knowing that they're weaving him in is exciting and fun.
Where is he from?
He was from Rebels.
And also supposedly going to appear in Ahsoka. So,
right.
Wait, Ahsoka's the same time frame as
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
Yeah. Oh, I bet we'll see Ahsoka in this movie too.
We might. We also in the footage, Todd, there was a very brief scene of Rada the Hutt.
Oh yeah, I heard this. Yeah, yep.
He's all buffed out, and what's his name's doing his voice? The guy from The Bear.
Right. Yeah.
Jeremy
Alan White.
Yeah.
Jeremy Piven.
And Sigourney, we saw her in the trailer. So yeah, I had no doubts.
It looks fun,
but it looks like a lot of fun, and it may be low stakes, and that's okay. Like it's just going to be fun, and they're
just
saying
do
it's
a good Star Wars
big adventure
movie. That's
movie.
all we need.
Just seeing, even in the footage that they showed, you've got so many familiar Star Wars looking things. You had the AT-ATs, you had traditional looking snowtroopers, but there was also some snowtroopers that looked a little bit like the ones from Force Awakens, and it was really a good cross section of looks, and it all felt very Star Wars.
Barry.
And the Razor Crest was in the trailer. So I wonder if
you rebuild it.
That's interesting. So
I wonder if
there's got to be more than one of those ships out there.
Yeah.
Or it's a flashback. You say it's low stakes,
he did
Barry,
tell Pelly he wanted her to find him another one. So
that's right. That is true. That is true. You say it's low stakes, but the reality is they took the best thing they had going on Disney Plus offline and made it a movie. So there is stakes to this.
Well, I think there's a good reason for that, though.
I know that, but I'm saying they made that choice.
They made
but
it.
It's also leading into, it sounds like Filoni still wants to bring all that together in a big movie.
Yeah.
In 5 years or
he does,
4 years
but they had a corporate mandate to have a big movie in theaters for the 50th anniversary, and this is the only way they were going to get it done.
But that's not the 50th anniversary.
No, next year is the 50th anniversary.
No, it's the 49th. 2027 is the 50th anniversary. Oh,
you're right. Okay, forget that.
That's why
you were very young in '77. So
the Adventures of Book Starfighter is going to be.
Yep.
All right, so that's that. They also announced a Darth Maul Shadow Lord animated series that's coming out next year. So, okay, I like.
They say it's supposed to be dark.
I've liked all their animated shows, except for maybe the whatever that thing was called. Not Resistance. Was it Resistance? Yeah,
I think it was. It's the only one I haven't seen.
Well, so. Yeah. Have you watched all of the Visions, the anime stuff?
I have. Yes.
See, I was going to say they also announced season 3 of Visions,
and they're longer. So
October of this year, and that's the one show that I haven't watched all.
See, I actually like those. I like the. I mean, some of those I like. It's an anthology thing, and they're also short. The new ones are going to be longer length. They said that at least twice as long. So,
and I think 2 of them are sequels to episodes from the previous season.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll go back and watch those at some point. I kind of don't care about that, but I've seen everything else.
So did you not watch them at all, or?
I've picked and chosen, but I haven't watched all of them.
I think you need to watch all those. I think you would like them. I really like the Dooku development in those. I thought that was. I think you basically come out of
those.
What's that?
Because are you conflating the Visions, which are the Japanese anime style ones, with the other shorts that they've done?
I'm talking about the other shorts that they've done.
Yeah, I think you are, because
I have not seen the. Okay, yes.
Because there's a whole series.
What are those called?
They've had different names.
Tales of the
Jedi.
Okay,
Tales of
so I am conflating
Empire.
those. I'm sorry, I'm conflating those.
Yeah, no,
things.
those I've watched all of, and there is another season of that coming. But there's
that's
also
what I'm. Okay, I got those. The other things aren't on my radar at all. Those are the
Star
things
Wars
that are coming,
Visions
and they're going to be
They handed the thing over to a bunch of Japanese animation houses, and they've done these anime style. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Sorry, no, I had those 2 things confused.
Yep. Okay.
Right, so
they talked about Ahsoka season 2.
That's a big deal.
It seems like it is. I mean, and they had...
And Filoni gave a lot away.
He did. Did you watch that panel? Because that whole panel's on YouTube.
I watched some of it. I mean, and Hayden showed up. They're like, he's going to be in season 2. So, it's interesting. Now, again, they were not doing everything the right way before. Maybe this is the way. They said so many things.
Yeah, well, so the things that I wrote down, they officially said Hayden is in it. Mm-hmm. They officially said Admiral Akbar is in it. And it's going to be, part of it is Admiral Akbar versus Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yep.
And he said that they rebuilt the whole set for the hangar of Home 1, which is the Moncal ship. And that they've built full-size X-Wings and a few other full-size other ships. And he said there's all other things which I won't mention, but sounded pretty interesting the way he was describing it.
He also said we're going to see more of Ezra.
Yep.
We're going to see more of Hera doing. They felt like she was just in the background. She's going to be in the
she
mix.
Was just kind of there for being there, but I think basically it sounds like Ahsoka season 2 is Rebels live action, which is really.
Yeah. And he said it's going to be like all out war. It's going to be super action packed. But
good.
They're not joking around with this. I'm excited about this season.
They brought the whole cast over there too. I mean, when you think about how many actors they brought to Japan for this, they've had a lot of key people from all these shows, which was great. By the way, going back to the Mandalorian and Grogu, did you happen to see what Pedro Pascal was wearing?
I don't. That dude. He wears a lot of crazy stuff.
Was that the Mamba shirt? I mean, it was kind of.
He had not only that, he's wearing these shorts and these
knee-high
gaucho boots.
It was a weird, and everybody was even commenting on it.
Okay, no, I saw a picture of him wearing like a Mamba shirt, and it was like.
But if you see him at anything like this, he was at CinemaCon or whatever, where if he shows up at those kinds of things, he's always in some crazy outfit.
Yeah.
That's what he dresses like.
I mean, Mandy Jacinto was even there talking about the Acolyte. They had him interviewing him about the Acolyte, and he even put the helmet on.
It's over.
I know.
What do we need to know?
But the Lucasfilm people aren't going to ignore it for whatever reason. They should have, but they chose not to. They brought him.
But they really had 3 big things.
Yeah.
4 if you want. Ahsoka, Mando and Grogu, Starfighter, throw Darth Maul in there, right? I mean...
Yeah,
I don't think then some video games, but
there was some video game stuff, which we won't have to go into. They also had an ILM panel there to talk about Light and Magic season 2, which I've watched all of already. But
I haven't. I got to start.
It's great.
Started
it's only 3 episodes, but it's great.
Yeah, I was just getting caught up on the ones I didn't remember watching from the first season.
Yeah, I recently rewatched the first season. It's also good.
That's what I'm doing before I get into the other ones.
Good. So yeah, I mean, it was a good event. They had a lot of good solid information coming out of it. It wasn't
solid information of stuff that's coming. I don't know. Did they say when Ahsoka's coming?
No.
Yeah,
but they're filming it now. So figure
solid
next year.
Info of what's not on any of this. Oh, and guess who's going to be the next director of a script we don't have with actors we don't know, and none of that.
Well, and they also interviewed they had the whole cast of Andor season 2 there, and they were interviewing all of them. And I mean, from what they're all saying, and obviously I know they're all going to be super rah-rah about it, but it sounds like this is like off the charts good.
I think it's going to be. Just seeing like the snippets of trailers and stuff, I think it's going to be.
They released a short 1-minute scene that I almost didn't watch it, and then I watched it today, and it just got me so pumped.
Cool.
I know what I'm doing tomorrow night for 2.5 hours.
All right.
I will try not to text you about it because I know you're probably not all going to be.
I don't know if I'll get to it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I won't be home until late. Okay, so lots going on. Good stuff. I feel like we're getting good Star Wars stuff. You want to do a quick what's in the box?
Yeah.
Show you with the box. Who's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Regular Joe's What's in the Box.
Todd, what's in the box?
Okay, so I tend to buy Godzilla figures, and so I just got this Godzilla -1 figure, which is actually very, very cool. Comes with a couple different heads. I'm showing it to you. He's got the plane catching head. And then we've also got the regular
plane catching,
the smiley head. Nice figure. This is very well done. Crazy heavy. It's like
makes it?
2.5 pounds. So that was the next thing I was going to say. So this is Super 7. which
okay.
do a bunch of like GI Joe figures and a bunch of different licensed stuff.
They're the ones that brought back the reaction figures.
Yes,
back.
Yeah.
I haven't bought a Godzilla figure of theirs before. For whatever reason, like 3 different companies have Godzilla -1 figures, and I wanted to give this one a try. I'm really pleased with it. Really good articulation, really good joints, and it's very well executed, and he's got some good eyes. I love the movie. I've seen it a couple times now, and I'm glad to add this guy to the Godzilla shelf. So, very, very cool.
Awesome.
Cool.
So,
Barry, what's in the box?
I have a new recent release from our friends at Regal Robot. It is the little wall cabochite maquette. So it's small, but the main reason I wanted it is that it comes with a Joe Johnston signature edition.
oh, that's
plaque.
cool.
Speaking of Light and Magic Season 2, which Joe Johnston directed. So yeah, I mean it's a small little piece, but it's got
What's it on? What's that base made out
it's
of?
wood. All the bases are the same height and the same.
Oh, I didn't
material.
even realize that.
Yeah, it fits in really nicely with the rest of the collection, but it was for me. It was all about the Joe Johnston signature edition
for
plaque.
sure.
Very cool.
And I'm gonna do a real quick double hit because this came today. I got my
You get your
my Marvel Legends ROM action figure, Space Knight action figure.
That's cool.
The packaging is super solid. I mean, it's very, very thick cardboard. Like you could see. I mean, no reason to take him out of the package right away. And he comes with a little miniature version of ROM #1, the
comic.
book.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
great.
funny.
So I don't know. I pre-ordered this on a whim like a couple months ago, and I didn't even realize it shipped. So it just showed up today. So
I need to get that.
That's cool. I never even read that, had that toy. I didn't.
I loved ROM back in the day.
I didn't have that.
I think I need that for
When
the
they-
robot shelf. He's technically a robot, right?
He's totally a robot. Yeah.
He's robot,
When
but
they
he's got
come
a
out with a big
consciousness,
tracks,
so-
I'll get that. I had big tracks.
All right, Dave. What's in the box?
All right, mine's tied to Star Wars Celebration because they said, hey, they're going to have select things on Amazon, which I think is new this time.
Yeah, they've never done
and
that
I'm like,
before.
yeah, I looked through it, I didn't see anything I really liked. But then there was I guess coming out of the ILM panel, on Amazon you can order an ILM 50th anniversary
that's
shirt from Amazon.
Yes, mine came today.
I knew you ordered one.
Actually, today or yesterday? I don't know. Mine came. I got mine. What color did you get? I like that you could print it in different colors.
Yes, I got it like a heather gray.
Mine's blue.
Like a dark.
I got it like a dark
gray.
blue. Yeah.
What's interesting, I was reading. There was a little article about it that popped up on Facebook, and then I clicked the link to see if there was other stuff. There's really only 2 things. It's this and a
Like a
tumbler.
coffee mug. Yeah, like a tumbler.
But when I click the link, the 50 is white and red.
Huh.
So there are 2 versions of this shirt. I thought because this was the picture of Sam Witwer was wearing this one.
Yeah, and it was like kind of like a print-on-demand thing because you could pick your color
It's
T-shirt.
totally
and,
a print-on-demand thing. And I ordered mine Friday and got it Sunday.
The same thing. Mine came yesterday.
But there's 2 versions. There's one with this is red.
I'll have to. Now I got to get the variation.
And I thought maybe they changed that in mid thing. So it's weird. It's kind of weird.
And
I actually
that one's
like
on
the old
Amazon
one
also. The one with
better.
the.
It's on Amazon.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Print on demand, same price.
Yeah, I got mine on Sunday also.
Yeah, but that's cool. I mean, you haven't been able to buy that kind of stuff.
No.
Other than, at
Other than when
Lucasfilm.
I've been lucky enough to go there and pick them up at the company store.
So that was cool. I was happy to get that. So that's
yeah,
what's
there
in
was
the
nothing
box.
else I was interested in either on that whole thing. But that was I
Yeah.
thought that shirt and the shirt was affordable. It was like $20, $22, something like that.
$22.99.
Yeah.
Looking at it right now, trying to figure out what color.
Todd. Look at before you do that. We'll talk after the show. And even the celebration shirt. There were celebration shirts, but they looked like they were just like a giant rubber panel on a shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which I was not interested in.
Nope,
so.
me either.
Anyway, okay. Well, next week we're going to do the studio, and no, next week will be Andor, I'm sure.
I don't
but
think,
it may not be.
How can it not be? I'll give you guys a week to watch it.
Okay, and The Last of Us, because I got to talk about this. So just seriously.
All right, I got to actually watch it.
I'll watch it at some point in the next few days, and then
don't wait. I'm telling you, seriously. I had a partial spoiler today, and yeah, just watch it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to be spoiled, but at the same time, I'm not so invested in the show that if I get spoiled, it's not.
I'm not invested in it at all. Other than I don't even know who. The last thing I saw was last time, so I got to get.
There's
back
a good
into
recap
it,
at the
so.
beginning of the first episode.
Good. All right, so we'll figure that out. Okay, that's enough. A lot of good stuff.
Just say text me when you've seen it. When you've seen the second episode. That's all.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. Well, like I said, good stuff coming up. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.